What's going on, guys? It's Caleb, and today I have a 2015 Hyundai Accent hatchback that is in for a detail. Now, this Hyundai is in a beautiful burnt orange. I don't know if many people like this color, but I actually really like this color a lot, and the fact that we were able to get it really nice and clean and glossy just made the color that much better. But one thing in this detail that I told you guys last week that is happening now is that I do have an interior segment for you guys with this car. So after we're done doing the exterior and getting everything dialed in there, we're going to go ahead and shoot over to the interior, give you guys a before clip of everything going on, kind of like I did here at the very beginning like you just saw, and we're going to go ahead and clean the interior completely and then show you guys the after product. This thing really needed some attention to detail to get it really clean, and I think I did that pretty well, and I'm really happy and excited to share the experience with you guys. But before we go any further, guys, please, if you just take a real quick second and like the video, go ahead and press subscribe and go ahead and ring that bell. That way you know every single time I upload. I upload weekly here, just as I always say, a little later than usual, a little earlier than usual, really just depends on how that week's going, but at some point that week you will get a video. As for this one though, this one's going to be a pretty lengthy one, not too lengthy like my boat video from ages ago where it was 40 minutes long, maybe in the 20-minute range. So go ahead and sit back, relax, get yourself a drink or a snack or something, and let's get on with this video. As you can see here, once I sprayed the P&S Break Buster on the wheels, these wheels really weren't too bad. I mean, honestly, compared to the last video, these wheels are pretty good. Obviously, they're hubcaps, so they're going to be stains here and there that are going to be very difficult to get out. But, that's why we have strong wheel cleaners and degreasers, and we definitely took our time on these and went around the actual tire probably 3 or 4 times just to make sure that there was no more brown suds and it was all white. So I'm going ahead and getting the foam cannon all ready to go with Chemical Guys' Mr. Pink. If you watched my last video, I did talk a little bit about it, but I really like this stuff. It might foam just a little too much, and I spoke to some of you guys in the comment sections and really corroborated with that from other YouTubers who do detailing. So it wasn't just me going crazy, but it is a very thick snow foam, which I kind of enjoy, especially when it comes to brushing the surfaces. But I might switch back to like Adam's car shampoo here in the near future, but we're going to go ahead and pre-rinse this car now and then use the foam cannon so that way we can brush every nook and cranny of this vehicle and get it all nice and clean and ready for a hand wash. This car was definitely excessively dirty on the exterior, so I'm really happy we got a nice thorough pre-rinse in it. I am using a microfiber towel in order to do the hand wash. Now this towel is only dedicated to paint, specifically for hand washing. I got about 3 or 4 of them for whenever my wash mitts are currently being washed. Plus I like microfiber towels for hand washing because I can kind of refold them or flip them. I can manipulate them in more ways than one, so that way I can always have a fresh side for a panel of a car.
So cover me, 'cause I'ma let you out, I'ma let you in. You're my enemy. If you would let me go, I will let you in.
One thing I wanted to touch on real quick before we end this entire section here is how I am washing the car. Let it be known that washing a car is washing a car, but whenever you're trying to do it in a very certain way, especially for car detailing in order to prevent things like swirling, scratching, marring, and whatnot, you want to work from the top down. Now in my clips, as you see, I'm not doing that, but that's only specifically because of how I've ordered my clips whenever I go to edit. It's very just mentally for me weird if I go from here to there to there to there, so I like to do an order, that way it's more satisfying to the human eye. But the point of the matter is, whenever you're hand washing a car, start with the roof, work down to the windshield and whatnot, then work down to the doors and work down to the bottom. You don't want to take the contaminants of the bottom of a bumper and then put it up to like the top end of a door. I mean, that's just not what you really want, and it can definitely add to some scratching and marring. I have a feeling I'm going to do a lot of talking in this video, mostly because I'm just in the talking mood at this time of editing. But for right now, what we're doing here is we're going to put on some Colonite 845 insulator wax. If you've watched any of my videos months ago, especially when it comes to my Golf R, I love using this stuff just because of the warm glow, as the industry calls it. This thing definitely gives off such a warm glow. It's a look that I can't get anywhere else other than with Colonite, and I like using Colonite and then topping it with Bead Maker. As you guys know, I always talk about Bead Maker, but in this case, that's just like the perfect combo. I really don't know how else to explain it. At least for me, whenever I see the after product of what comes from using those two products together, it's just in harmony. Really, it is. The number one tip I can give whenever using this specific kind of wax is a little goes a long way. If you have a bunch of excess product on the surface, it's going to make buffing it off with your hands a heck of a lot harder than it really needs to be. Now, in the last video where I used Colonite wax, some of you guys left it in the comments, and I did see it, but this is what really needs to be told about this, and especially with the insulator wax version, the 845. This stuff gets really thin just from a little bit of heat, and I live in Florida. The heat is atrocious here, which means this wax will turn into like thinner than water in a matter of just minutes. So if that ever happens to you and it just pours out all over the applicator pad, just make sure you spread it out liberally so that way you have a much easier time getting it off the car. Plus, you don't want to waste a whole bunch of product. Just from this clip right here, you can really get a feel for how the wax looks after it's been buffed off the surface. It's so glossy and it's a nice, warm, just good glow. I love this stuff. This is where the magic happens, putting on a coat of P&S Bead Maker. This stuff was sent down from heaven specifically for the paint of a car when, nah, I'm just kidding, man. The guy at P&S, the chemist there, they're brothers. That guy is just a genius, man. As everyone knows here in this channel, this is my favorite product in the world. If you did not know that, welcome to the channel. This is my favorite product in the world. We're gonna go ahead and do a coat of Bead Maker all the way around the car just to give that finishing touch, that beautiful gloss that it gives off no matter what. And whenever you see Bead Maker come out in my videos, you know we're kind of getting to the end of the exterior detail, or the exterior part in this case. Now moving to the final touches of the exterior, I'm going to go ahead and use Meguiar's Hyper Dressing with a little bristle brush on the plastic trim, like right here as you see right behind the wheel. And then we're going to go ahead and use the same exact product as the tire dressing. Now for those who don't know, I do use Meguiar's Hyper Dressing sprayed into a brush and I paint it onto the tire itself. And that's solely because it fills every little tiny inch of the tire. Every little nook, every little cranny gets filled with some sort of dressing. As well as when I leave it on for about 5 minutes and then go ahead and take it off with an applicator pad, it just gives that nice matte black OEM look with just the tiniest little hint of shine. I wouldn't even call it shine, I'd call it more like sheen. This interior has most definitely seen better days, as you saw from the intro clips to this. It needed some attention to detail and it needed some deep cleaning done, and you know, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to get this thing looking nice and clean and enjoyable for the owner. Now, a little info on the owner here, I haven't mentioned it yet, but this is actually my mother's car. We've gone back and forth for quite a few months now about when to get together and get this thing nice and clean. We finally got it all worked out, so I want to make sure I do as best as I possibly can. But we're going to start off with vacuuming everything out, and then I'm going to take my bristle brush with some purple power diluted 10:1 and get the doors all done and then work my way inwards. One thing I need to mention real quick though is that I did go in first before cleaning all the hardscapes, and I dusted them all off with my smaller ever so soft detail brush with my vacuum closely behind it. I don't know where that clip went, but it's important to do that first before you go in with a microfiber and some cleaner and brushing. Just make sure you get everything dusted off first, or else you're gonna have a mess. So one thing that I always do whenever I'm cleaning the interior of a vehicle, and you guys have probably picked up on it, maybe not, but either way I'm going to tell you, is I always follow behind with an extra microfiber towel. This is a habit I've kind of started to form since I really got into detailing, and it all started because of interior dressing. Sometimes there'd just be excess stuff and I didn't like the way it looked, or it was kind of oily, whatever the case may be. I always followed up with an extra microfiber towel to make sure that there wasn't any excess. You can never really go wrong by doing that, and in my opinion it's a really good habit to have, especially if you're cleaning the interior of a vehicle with that piano black kind of glossy trim all over the inside. That stuff is notorious for leaving fingerprints just by looking at it long enough, and if you just have an extra microfiber towel with you to wipe everything down, you won't have to worry about there being any excess fingerprints or product or just blemishes on it. And it really helps if you have a plush, soft, high GSM towel. Pretty much this past year, I haven't really done a whole bunch of interior details. I mean, I really started this YouTube channel about a year ago, and if you've watched my videos, you will tell that there hasn't really been a lot of interiors except for maybe 4 or 5 videos. And because I haven't done very many interiors, I've been using basic supplies for interior details because I haven't need to really re-up. I'm using basic stuff, you know, like purple power degreaser or super clean, you know, simple brushes. But recently, and you guys will see in the videos in the future, I've been doing a lot more interior details, and because of that, I've finally been able to get more of the actual interior cleaning products that I usually would use, like P&S Express Cleaner for the interiors. And I also hope to get some carpet extraction videos for you guys, but overall with this detail right now, we're going ahead and putting on Meguiar's hyper dressing as the interior dressing, and then we're going to focus on cleaning the windows. I don't actually show me cleaning the windows, but you do see me putting on bead maker on the exterior because it just adds that little extra bit of gloss. And this is where everything comes to an end. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in with me once again. This was a little bit more of a chattier video, mostly because I was really excited to share an interior video with you guys. So if you guys like me talking a lot more, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, if you like the video, go ahead and show me by leaving a like. Go ahead and press subscribe if you like this sort of content, and go ahead and ring that bell. That way you know every single time I upload a video. Once again, guys, thank you so much for everything. I mean, right now as I'm sitting here, we're about 15 subs off from 2,300, which is just insane. The growth is still steady, and it leaves me speechless. I really can't thank you guys enough. As always, have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys next week. Later.